Over the last few days, I've been warning you that even if the price was able to see $30,000 to $32,000, that I thought some type of pullback was going to happen, especially soon with the FOMC meeting, and well, it seems as if that is now currently playing out. So I want to give you an updated version of what I believe, what I'm seeing, and what I'm preparing for the crypto market over the next few days. So looking at Bitcoin, one thing we can see is, again, this absolutely disastrous red candle here, right? We can see that Bitcoin did reach a high of right around $29,000 before, of course, capitulating 7% over the course of 4 hours, seeing a pullback all the way at this given point towards the mid $26,000 level. Now, I told you all, we need to be aware that this was on the way, okay? As you can see here on our 4-hour charts on that chart prime oscillator, we were getting multiple overbought readings, which were indicating that although we were going up, that momentum was starting to slow down. That can be even further identified by the bearish divergence that was playing out throughout this move to the top side, as the price was setting in, of course, these higher highs, but our indicators were starting to set lower highs. We were getting both hidden and regular bearish divergence, which are identified by our blue lines. Now, throughout all of this, we were also getting our red arrows, which are possible reversal indicators showing that, hey, again, momentum is slowing down. Now, if we do go out to our daily charts also, what we covered last night was the fact that even on the daily charts, we were finally starting to get some indication that a pullback was on the way. We got three boxes printed out here saying, look, we're in overbought territory, be very careful. We worked our way up to this overbought territory on the oscillator itself. All of these things saying, listen, this is likely not going to last. And so I told you last night, even if we wake up towards $30,000 to $32,000, I'm very confident that this is still going to have room to run back to the downside. So be incredibly careful. And what we can see now is that it very possibly could be on the way, as many of these indicators do go into free fall. So now what, right? Now the question is, okay, well, now we knew this was coming. Well, what are we expecting next? So I'm still under the belief that we need to come back down to revisit $25,000 to $25,500. The reason being is that it is very unlikely within the current times that whenever we have a massive point of resistance like we've had over the last few months at 25.2K, that we break back above it and we don't go back down to retest it. It's just simply what happens, right? You can see in these moments, even back here, whenever we got close to this level, this is where we wigged down to before breaking all the way back up to the upside. The moment that we lost it, where did we come back to? We retested it. And even though we got really far away from it, that is the first level that gave us a pure rejection to the downside before we eventually did break out. $25,200 is one of the most important levels in crypto that there has ever been. And so just the idea of breaking above it without coming back down to it doesn't make much sense. And so at this given point, I am still expecting that we are going to work our way back down towards that level and then look to build up some foundation before then continuing. And so I do believe this general area between $24,000 to $25,000 is a good accumulation zone. Now, one thing we can see that kind of further go with this is the fact that although we are getting a little bit of green right now, it is still very likely that we will see some type of continuation to the downside, as generally Bitcoin does move in 3 waves, especially on correction waves, which would look something rather similar to this. This wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if we do get a retest back up to 27.5K ish before pulling all the way back towards 25.2. You can see that that is rather likely that we do get at least some type of relief from this little downfall that we have seen. Our hourly chart prime oscillator is already near overbought territory, and the fact that this thing is correcting so fast tells me that it's very unlikely that we are going to just get a full-blown capitulation towards 20K. I think it's rather likely that we do at least find some type of support above 25.2K and establish some type of foundation before either trying to continue or, capitulating from that point forward. But it does seem as if some support is going to hold around this level, especially considering that the shorter time frames are also starting to, show indications that a bounce towards the upside could be on the way rather sooner than later. So overall, guys, I don't think that this is anything to be too afraid of. Realistically, the meeting that we got earlier wasn't that bad. Basically, what they said, to make it very simple, was that they do believe there is still a possibility that they will have to continue raising rate hikes over the next couple months as this inflation thing does play out. Now, before that, they said they absolutely were going to, but this time around, they said that they might have to, because if the banking situation does cause a bit of a credit crunch, they may not have to, and so they're kind of uncertain of whether that is what they're going to have to do at this point. Now, because of course people were speculating that they weren't going to raise hikes or do rate hikes anymore, or that they weren't going to have to continue, they were starting to get super bullish. They thought that quantitative easing was on the way, the money money printers were about to turn on, and so they were going along at 28, 27K. And so because of course that is not exactly what happened with the Fed, the price started to pull back to the downside. It's really not all that scary whenever you look at it for what it really is. And so even if the price does continue to pull back, I'm looking for $25,000 to hold to the bottom side here. I do believe that some support should be established, as many of our indicators are already starting to imply on the shorter time frames like your 1 hourlies that some type of reset is rather sooner again than later. So we'll continue to update you as this does play out, and all I ask of course is that you simply just smash that like button so more people see this video. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic end of your week, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.